I'm Delta Work, and it's time for Very Delta. Candis Cayne is here, but first, do you want to see me go off? Because I think you want to see me go off. Hit it!
Oh.
Mom! Are you a lady like me? Introspective, beautiful. Oh, are you intellectual like me? Beguiled by a bargain? You like wild times? Oh, like me? Are you serving the community like me? Well, if you are, then you must be Very Delta. I'm Delta Work, and this is Very Delta, a luxury public access podcast and YouTube talk show where I look gorgeous, speak extemporaneously, and invite fascinating people to sit on the couch and get Very Delta. Very Delta is for the woman who believed in au pain and wishes them nothing but the very best. But first, let's get into some things that are very Delta.
Go off, Delta!
Why is red velvet cake? What is red velvet cake? Why are people so excited about red velvet cake? Red velvet cake is nothing. Why would food coloring make something your new favorite cake? Why has it got to be red? It actually tastes less good than all the other. It actually tastes less like cake and less like dessert than all the other cakes. Why are this is like I went off about the like a pizookie. When you go to a restaurant and you get a pizookie and they're like, here's a big cookie with a scoop of ice cream. Isn't this earth-shattering? I venture to say that is more earth-shattering than a red velvet cake. And listen, I reserve the right to be completely wrong about this. I don't think I am wrong, but I reserve the right if there's like some recipe from like the Himalayas or something that I don't know about. And like there's a certain redness that you get from a rock and then you add that in there and then it all meshes together. And this is like, only the real red velvet comes from the red velvet region of Idaho or something. Like if that's the storyline, I'm willing to receive that. But from my experience, every time I've ever had red velvet or someone served me red velvet or I look at red velvet or I pull up a recipe, it's fucking food coloring and cream cheese frosting. And I don't even think people that are making this with cream cheese frosting are even using real cream cheese. I think they're getting the container of cream cheese flavored one, which I'm not going to knock because I love those no-bake Jell-O cheesecakes. I'm not fooling myself into believing that it's a cheesecake from the cheesecake region of Philadelphia, but I am aware that it tastes good. But a red velvet cake, you cannot convince me that it tastes so much better than another cake or so much different or has such a different profile that it needs to be someone's favorite. What am I missing? What am I missing about in my 48 years on this planet that and listen, I have an appetite. I've been to a bakery. I've got a credit card and cash in my pocket. I'm willing to pay for the red velvet cake, and I've tried. There is no different flavor. In fact, it reduces the flavor of a regular chocolate cake. I'm spitting. I'm so angry. I'm not angry. I'm annoyed. I'm not even really annoyed. I'm curious. I'm probably not even curious. I'm hungry. I'm not even hungry. I'm hangry. I'm hungry and angry. Stop telling people that your favorite cake is a red velvet cake. No, it's not. It is not. Like, I'm so confused. I need to be enlightened. I need to understand what the flavor profile is that's so different that food coloring and frosting that can go on any cake makes it so different that it's someone's favorite. Their favorite is red velvet. I think that I think it was an Oprah thing. It's been like, I don't know, red velvet cake has no properties as far as I know from my experience of 48 years of overeating sweets. It's not all that. Knock it off. It actually doesn't taste like anything. It tastes like below cake. It tastes like air. It tastes like, I don't know, eating a cake version of a packing peanut. Like, there's just nothing there. It's not like it's mildly sweet, or, you know, when people bake something and they're like, oh, I love this because it's really not that sweet. I don't want to hear that. Like, I don't want to hear that this dessert doesn't get, I hear people go, oh, this dessert doesn't get on my nerves because it's not that sweet. Oh, bitch, well then why make it? Why are you making dessert if it's not that sweet? Like, I get some people eat a plain cake donut because they want to dunk it in their coffee, and that's like a textural thing or whatever. I don't want to eat a plain cake donut. Don't ever bring me a plain cake donut. I have no time for that. I don't keep in my bag like a gun of frosting and peanuts to put on a donut. I want it brought to me that way. So what I'm saying is the red velvet cake, not only does it not taste like chocolate cake, it tastes like nothing. It tastes like maybe the frosting is a thing, just because you can change that on any of the cakes. If I told you a yellow cake with chocolate frosting was my favorite, you could tell me that a yellow cake with vanilla frosting on the top was your favorite. And I would say, yeah, because it tastes like a yellow cake. Like, there is a difference in the taste of a yellow cake, a white cake, a chocolate cake. But a red velvet cake is just disguising itself, and in doing so is taking the flavor away. What's happening in that baking process as well that is counteracting the actual sweetness from the chocolate cake? It's robbed. Like, it's been taken away and it's being served to you, and everyone is convinced that, like, oh my gosh, this is so good. Why are we lying? What are we lying about? What? And you can't even say, I like it the way I like a chocolate cake. It doesn't taste like anything. There are dishes out there that are meant for dunking, right? I love pan dulce. It's a Mexican sweetbread, and on top of it, it's got like pink or yellow or white or whatever. It's good. It is one of it's one of those things that is very mild in flavor, but you know what you're eating when you eat it. Of course, you have to have them fresh, or if they're a little bit not fresh, put them in the microwave for 5 seconds. It makes all the difference. But these are treats that are intended to be dunked in one of the many. These are intended to be dunked into one of the many hot drinks that are provided in culturally. So a coffee, a champurrado, a hot chocolate, like they go together. But a red velvet cake, like, no one's saying, oh, if red velvet's your favorite, you better make sure and dunk it in, I don't know, cranberry juice, so that way it really amplifies the flavor and texture. No, when we say favorite cakes, they're supposed to be like eaten the way it is. And when you eat it, it tastes like nothing. It doesn't even taste mild. It tastes less than mild. It tastes like, I don't know, entering an empty closet. Like, there's just nothing in there. There's no, like, hello. Is there a flavor? Can I get a flavor profile? Like, if you served that to me, I'm not going to be fucked up. I'm going to eat the cream cheese frosting off the top, and I'll just let you know that I'm taking in half the calories. But stop being so proud of red velvet when there's nothing to be proud of. Knock it off. I challenge red velvet cake to come on this show, sit on this couch, get very, very Delta, and convince me what is so good about it. If you're out there, Red Velvet, and you're listening to me, I'm telling you, you have an open invitation. I want you to come here and let me taste you. I want to eat you. I want to find out what is so great. What is so different? What are you so proud of? Why does everybody believe in you so much? It's not that I hate you. It's that I don't understand why you're so anointed, why you're so loved. Like, what is happening? You leave me so empty, and I want you to fill me up. I want you to make me feel whole. Do you want to see me take a break? I think you want to see me take a break. Actress, author, model, choreographer, showgirl, activist, hair dancer. The most beautiful woman in the world is here, and she's Candis Cayne.
Oh my God, Delta, you're so sweet.
It's so true. Like, literally, literally my dream to have you here.
Oh my gosh.
We were talking backstage, and it did not dawn on me. One of my favorite movies ever is To Wong Foo. Ever. I did not know how involved you were in the movie. Like, I knew you were in the movie.
Yeah.
But you were like seriously involved in the movie.
Yeah. I mean, I was living in New York City and we heard rumors about a movie coming and it was about drag. And this was just right when Rue had done Supermodel and drag was starting to bubble up, and we were so excited and I auditioned and with a ton of other girls and I didn't get a part in the opening scene, but Kenny Ortega wanted me to be his assistant and help with Patrick Swayze and kind of train him how to be a queen and walk and stuff like that. So I went to set every day and I helped with the choreography and it was like a total dream come true. I got my SAG card from it, which was like so hard back then if you were a queen. And being able to work suddenly in this like really big Hollywood movie. It was amazing. And then do the ending scene and
the flowers.
The flowers, the red, the flowers.
Yeah, so pretty.
It was so fun.
When you were working with Patrick Swayze, was it like the fact that he's a dancer, is that something that like lends itself to easier? Not?
Yeah, no, his movement was great. So it was just trying to fem him up because, he was trained as a guy and doing all his movement as a man. So it was just a matter of just trying to get him to not act. I mean, to not act like a straight man acting like a gay man doing drag was like the thing that I was really focused on and trying to just make his movement natural. And he was so sweet. And I mean, all of the stars were amazing. And we really felt like we were part of this community while they were filming.
Yeah. I mean, they really, like, for me, it was such an important movie and it still is. And I remember thinking, like, I want to be like Vita Boheme. Like, but then I wanted to be a little bit like all of them.
Totally.
Because they all had these strengths. And even I feel like it stands the test of time. And these were people that were like huge action stars at the time.
Right.
All of them.
All of them.
Yeah. That's quite a lot to bite
We were
off.
all gagged with John. Because we were like, oh, girl, he could fall right into a New York City club right now.
Completely.
Yeah, she was fierce. It was fun.
What fragrance are you wearing?
I'm wearing a mixture of a rose fragrance and this perfume that I got on Etsy.
Okay.
Which is like an amber, like a deep amber, like mixed together.
Yeah, it's very specific. Mixing it. Sonique does that. Kylie does that all the time.
Oh, really?
And that's her thing. She's like, I don't want anyone to smell like me. It has to be
I need
specific.
my own little mixture.
Yeah.
But also, just really quickly, Julie Newmar was on set. And so it was such a magical thing meeting her and getting advice from her. And I came to visit LA and I got to go to her house and meet her son. And it was just like being around this like iconic Hollywood actress was really amazing too. I remember she was on one of those lean stations when you're on set.
Oh my God.
And everybody was milling around and she was just like this. And I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, well, as soon as the camera goes on, I like all the blood to rush out of my hands so I don't have any veins showing. And I was like, oh my God, that's so brilliant.
It is.
It was
it's
so
too
good.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Julie Newmar, like totally, like I think of Julie Newmar as like obviously an icon of like that really grand sort of specific and ritualistic about like the way that they do things. The way I love Tova Borgnine.
Totally.
Sort of like, what's her name from 16 Candles? Carol. Carol Baker?
Yeah.
Carol Baker.
Yeah. I find that
pretty.
older I get, the more I'm becoming like that. Because you kind of know what your makeup wants to look like and your hair wants to look like. So I find a lot of times now I'm just like, oh, I'll do my own makeup. And I go to set like done. Because you know how to do your face.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I obviously knew of you from watching like Wigstock and all of those things. And I never knew that along the lines I would eventually know you and then work with you and then befriend you. And then all these years later, we're being here. But you're someone that's always had your foot in kind of a little bit of everywhere. You are in front of the camera all the time and have always been. But you love being in a cabaret setting.
Uh-huh.
you can just get down and gritty and do a Thursday night drag show somewhere.
Mhm.
It's like just what strikes you. How do you decide when you want to do what you want to do?
Well, my first love was the stage and doing my Barracuda show for so long,
Right.
and doing my one woman show there. And New York, drag in New York is different. You kind of have to be a solo artist there, and usually you don't do like a cavalcade of girls.
Right.
You hone your skills. And so I love being on stage and doing that. So that was always kind of my first love, and dance. And then I just wanted to do bigger things than a show at Barracuda Bar. You know what I mean? And so I started auditioning for acting and stuff like that. So and then that became my love. So it was like I was able to scoot in through all the different worlds, because even though I transitioned, half the girls I know that do drag are trans. And so I was able to scoot around and be able to have a foot in every door and feel confident enough to do it, I guess.
Yeah, the confidence. I was talking to Bob, the drag queen, about confidence and that place where there's like confidence and arrogance. And in my thought, I would rather someone young be perceived as a little bit cocky and a little bit arrogant, and then sort of like channel that into just confidence.
I mean, to me, there's a big difference between confidence and cockiness. And I think that comes from just knowing your craft. I think a lot of times I love to see a little bit of cockiness with confidence, but I always like to see it when somebody knows what they're talking about.
Sure.
You know
That
what
makes
I mean?
so much sense.
And somebody like you who has studied our craft for so many years, we can go into a room and we're confident because we know that we're not going to flail. We know that we're going to put on a good show and entertain people and talk to people and look people in the eyes,
Right.
and I think that's important.
It is super important.
Yeah.
I'm staring at you and I'm thinking about, people look at you that maybe don't know you, would look at you for an outward appearance. And of course, I mean, the archetype of beauty.
Oh my God.
But I always wonder, like, does Candis Cayne, like, I thought about this last night. Does Candis like ever wake up maybe take a nap and wake up at like 11 o'clock at night and go, I think I'm going to run down to the liquor store and get Doritos? I don't think you do that. I don't think you could look the way you look and just do that.
No, that is not true. Although I would never wake up at 11 and go get Doritos. I would like plan ahead and I would have Doritos.
What's
in
your
my
What's your
house.
chip then? If you were going to if we were going to 7-Eleven right now.
And my chip.
Yeah. So you're going to say like baked apple chips or something.
No,
See?
I like a blue corn, Garden of Eden, corn chip, something like that.
See.
But if I was going to get down and dirty, I think I would do like a Frito.
Okay.
I like that Frito crunch.
So it's even like a greasier version of the healthy option.
Right.
Like, okay.
Although Taco Bell Dorito chips or taco flavor are pretty,
Yeah.
pretty yummy.
Are you going to have that? Like if you're at a craft services, what are you going to get?
I'm going to get like some peanuts and maybe some popcorn.
Okay.
And,
See, there you go. I knew this. I knew this. You're clean on the inside and out.
Well, I mean, I like a glass of wine though, so I don't know how clean I am.
Wine is like recommended by doctors.
Right. Totally.
Yeah. So you have to do that. So what would be like the dirtiest, sexiest way to eat a chip? Do you like lick the chip? Do you remember Doritos would sometimes have like extra powder on them? Would you ever lick the powder off of it, or do you just devour the whole thing?
I just one bite. Remember those Doritos commercials where they just go Yeah, I like
Just
a
one
crunch,
clean
one clean crunch.
Yeah.
And then maybe a lip lick if you want to get sexy.
That's the sexy way to do it.
That's the bite and then
Do it again. But do it there. See, I can't. See, I'm gonna bite it and then I'm like that's how it ends up for me.
Oh my gosh.
I think with people, I think that you can tell when people like sort of put on from their inspirations or from what they've seen. And I think with you, like your confidence and your sensual, I don't even want to say sexuality. There's just a sensuality to everything that you do, and you can't help it. Have you always felt that way? Have you always been that way?
Yeah, which was a problem when I was, a little boy running around Hawaii,
Right.
and being called Mahu and stuff like that. I just was always who I was, which was unapologetic about. I was never one of those people that could hide who I was. I just had to be, and come what may, I'd figure it out,
Yeah.
But I always I grew up watching Sid Charisse and Singing in the Rain and Anne Margaret and all these amazing women that I just I didn't even create. I emulated them, so I kind of became them, the way I move and the way I hold myself. I think it was just so young that it's almost not like it wasn't a thoughtful thing. It was more like it was just inherently in me.
Mm-hmm. And you're totally known for Hit It. Where did that come from?
Hit it! I was
How?
Hit it! It's always a little sheriff.
I love that.
Yeah. I would do it obnoxiously loud though,
Okay.
In the mic, so it would scare people. It was so funny. I don't know. I think it was I know that there was a moment in time when Sherry Vine and I think Lady Bunny, we were all saying it. I say that I started it, and Jackie Beat too. I think Jackie Beat might claim it. Bunny, I mean, she has been around a long time. So I don't know. It just kind of happened that way, but I really made it into a thing. A moment before every number I would, hit it! And I would just do it different ways.
I think that's perfect because, when you're around a group of friends or colleagues or whatever, there's always words that come up and you all say them. I have that with people that I came up with.
Coming up to me all the time. Literally, I'll be at a gay event and people will run up to me and be like, hit it!
Oh, I love that.
I know. It's kind of like a little theme.
It's your thing,
It's my thing.
Well, we happened to find here, I had no idea it was going to be here. Didn't even think about it.
What?
There is a fan, actually, a motorized fan, if you will.
Right here.
And sometimes they show up at your shows. You have no idea what's going to be on the set,
No,
right? You're just performing, and then you try to give the crowd what they want.
Everyone has a fan.
Because they want you to hit it.
I literally have a fan in my closet at home. And occasionally I might whip it out just to, have a moment, answer the door with a fan.
Right.
Kind of like
this one? Oh my God.
Kind of like that.
Oh, it's everything. I want to do that.
Okay.
I don't know if it'll. Should we try, Mark? Bring.
Right on top of the desk.
Okay.
Bring. It's not even moving. It's so much fucking hairspray in here. Not everybody gets to be Candis Cayne. There's only one Candis Cayne, and I think that's plenty. Did you get it? We are back with the gorgeous, gorgeous Candis Cayne. It's happening now. You were born and raised in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And it's a frightening time.
Yeah. I wasn't born there, but most of my childhood was spent there.
Yeah.
And so I'm a local girl from Maui, and it's heartbreaking. My first job was in Lahaina. We went all the time because it was the most exciting place on the island. It's heartbreaking. The devastation is mind-boggling, really. I'm so, in my mind's eye, it's such a vibrant, beautiful, place, and now it's completely gone. It will never come back. And I feel fortunate that I got to see it and be a part of it before that happened. But my major concern is with the people of Maui, and how are they going to be able to deal with this loss? How are these 2,000 families going to be homed? Everything they had is gone. So I'm doing my best from here. I'm sending out posts and trying to raise money. My friend Amy Hanaili'i has and her Hui has a GoFundMe page that's trying to raise money for the community out there. And I was just there 3 weeks ago for a week, and my family's house is in Haiku. It's kind of the rainy side of the island, so we weren't affected by the fires, but Maui itself will be affected by the fires for many years to come.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I send an aloha to everyone there.
You take that spirit with you though all the time. The idea of not just aloha, but the idea of everywhere you go and every time you're around people, it feels like a vacation. You feel like vacation to people. You feel like the tropics. You feel like the sun. Do you feel that way all the time? Because that's how you make other people feel.
Well, I love that. That is so, like, I feel like myself. I don't realize that I make people feel that way, and I do feel that way, but I'm, like everyone else, you wake up and you're like, oh, this is wrong and that's wrong, and I got to do this, and I have to work out, and I have to, you know what I mean? So it's for everyone, life is a trial, and you just find the best way to get through it. And for me, the best way of doing that is being positive and trying to be loving. And so I think that's what I want to emit.
Right. It is. It's 100% what you emit. Do you, what are you working on right now? Like what's happening right now that you are excited about?
Well, besides the strike, actually, I was at home at the beginning of the pandemic, and we were all sequestered, and I was lucky to have this beautiful home with a kind of desolate garden. So I started gardening, and I started planting, and I started creating my own personal Huntington gardens. And when it got to a point where people would come over masked, and they were shocked. And I was like, you know what? I really want to do a show about gardening. And so I had met my friend Jacqueline shooting a movie in Tennessee, of all places. The week we finished, the week that the country shut down, I started talking about wanting to shoot this kind of do it yourself DIY garden show. And then my best friend Dana Davis came in, and we since have become writing partners. And she was like, let's make this more magical. So we created the show called Candis Cayne's Secret Garden, and it's kind of a mix between Martha Stewart and Pee-wee's Playhouse, R.I.P. So we have a cast of magical characters that live around my secret garden, and I go to people's houses and I do makeovers, and I do like DIY segments at my own house. And we're in post right now, and hopefully we're hoping that we have a buyer right now. It's in the works. So I'm just kind of like doing my own thing. This industry is super hard. One, if you're trans. One, if you're two, if you're over 40. Three, if you are a woman. So I decided that I was going to write my own stuff and produce my own stuff. And I was lucky enough to find someone to pay for an entire season. So Kristen Carroll, who paid for the season, my friend Jacqueline directed it, and I started it, and we did a casting call, we shot this, and so it's in post now. And so I'm really excited about that.
How cool is that?
Yeah, it's really, really fun.
And when you mentioned Dana, like I met Dana one time with you. We did this gig together at like a casino in San Diego.
Yeah.
And you had Dana with you.
Yeah.
And I was like, Wow. Like the two of you together it's fire. It's so fun
Totally.
because it ebbs and flows. There's like a quiet time, then there's the inside joke time. And then I think at the time you were either going to or I think you were going to Spain together. Were you not?
We were for my big birthday,
Right.
40,
Mm-hmm.
and it got canceled.
Right.
From the pandemic.
Right.
And I had made all these plans, and I had 30 people coming over a 3-week period. I had but that got canceled. But Dana was going to go. We were going to go together, unless it's a different time where we were going to Rome together, which we did, and we had a lot of fun in Rome.
I'm just saying, I feel like, and at that, especially that time when I was hearing the two of you carry on and have your conversations, I definitely felt like I've never watched Sex in the City. I know that's a sin, but I've never watched the show.
Come on.
I know. I've seen part of the movie and I fell in love and I was like, I should watch this. But I have a hard time committing to something and then thinking I'm going to miss an episode and I'm going to fall off track.
Right.
But when I was around the two of you, I thought, I'm around grown-ups. And we're not far apart in age. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I'm around women who are experienced.
Hello.
The conversations, I was like, oh, that's how you entertain men. That's how you drink. I was going back to people and I'm like, I was with Candis and her friend Dana, and you're not going to believe they are so glamorous. And you should see. And I mean, this is a pinky goes up when you drink, honey. It was so pretty. And I was like, this is my first time. I've been around a million women, but this is my first time being around ladies, women with experience. I've said to people, I've described, the way I describe you to people is Candis Cayne, and another woman I described this about is my friend Maria Roman, who was a guest here as well.
Oh, yeah.
I said, they look through men. I just feel like you can look through.
I love that.
And it's not because you desire all men or all women or all anybody. I think you've seen and you know. I feel like you have this arsenal in your brain of, I know that type, I know that type, I know that type.
Totally.
Do you feel like you've just experienced so many people that you can look through people?
100%. Especially trans amorous men are just, Dan and I just wrote a movie called Chaser about trans amorous men, and it really is kind of like Sex in the City that you never knew about. And we have a whole cast of trans women in and out of clubs and having these moments, and it's super fun. I mean, I moved to New York City in 91, and I think Dana moved there in 92 from Jersey. So we kind of experienced sex, like the New York City, the way they started doing filming Sex in the City before it even happened. And it was kind of a magical time then, because my favorite thing was there was no social media, and if you were going to make it, you had to go out every night. You had to put on a good show. It was all word of mouth. You didn't have to. When people would watch you perform, they were in there and they were watching you and applauding. You heard clapping rather than woo, you know what I mean? So I got to experience that, and I'm really thankful. I mean, I don't have hardly any pictures from back then, which is a travesty. Now, every time you go out, you're completely documented, and it's amazing. Now there are give and takes, but there are a few nights, at Jackie's 60s, which I'm very happy there wasn't a camera involved.
Is there one in particular that you can, I don't know, sort of Mad Lib for us?
Well, Jackie's 60 was kind of amazing because you had such a difference of people. You had your downtown club scene, and you also had a bunch of Wall Street guys in suits. So it was really, and foreign people from different countries all over the world. So it was always kind of a known thing. You could go there and meet a gentleman. And, I tended to go for a man in a suit.
Of course. course.
You know.
Yeah, discerning taste.
Yeah.
Discerning taste. I like that.
But I have to say, I enjoy being single now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you do.
I do. I thought for the longest time you were successful if you were in a relationship. And I tried so hard and I went from relationship to relationship to relationship. But now I wake up every morning and I go make my coffee whenever I want.
Mm-hmm.
I make as much noise as I want. I go see friends. I have lovers. You know, I have a full
so
life.
Pretty to say that. I have lovers. She said it like this. I have lovers. There's just, and you're not even trying, Candis. I'm telling you, like, this is, this podcast, YouTube talk show, whatever, is like a worksheet for my life because I feel like I just come up and I'm fooling people into believing that I know what I'm talking about, and I don't. But
do.
I get to have friends come on here that, and I think there's people that you know in your life that maybe you don't see all the time, but when you do see them, you can pick up the conversations.
And you,
yeah.
you are exactly like that with
Thank
me.
you. But I feel that way. And I really mean this, and I'm totally not kissing your ass, but I absolutely will. Like, you are just one of those people for so many of us. Because when I was coming up in drag, you know, we don't use this terminology anymore, but when I was coming up in drag, people would be like, oh, you look like, you look like a trans girl.
Yeah.
You know, and you would say, oh my God, like you would tell everybody, can you believe what they thought? Like, I'm doing the right, I'm right.
Totally.
I'm doing this.
Yes.
And of course, we know now what we did not know or realize or were taught then, which is respect for any trans person or anyone anywhere is not based on passability or anything like that.
Right.
We don't dole out respect that way. But there was a time coming up that the closest piece of approval you could get as a female impersonator
was looking.
You've had so much experience on Drag Race as a mentor.
Yeah.
Is that something that you would do? Would you ever be like an actual seated judge? Is that something you think you could do or want to do?
I would totally do it. I'm not really good at reading. I mean, I'm good at reading when but it's hard to sit there and judge drag in a mean kind of way. I would be more like the more constructive criticism judge,
Right.
And telling girls how they could, help themselves. A lot of the girls don't want to hear that though, because they're young and I remember being 22 and going out in drag and nobody could tell me anything.
Right.
But I would listen to people when they did because you couldn't really get away with that. So, I mean, I would be honest, but I wouldn't be cutting, you know. But I love Rue. I love the show. I loved being a part of it, being a choreographer on it, judging before. So it's kind of a legacy in our community, which it's been amazing to be a part of.
Yeah. There's something I remember from an appearance you were on as as a choreographer, and me and Raja talk about it sometimes, and we're like, remember when Candis was on and she had on, there were these shoes that had like 3 straps across the toes and maybe an ankle strap, but you also had sheer to waist black pantyhose on with those. That for me is one of those things that I like lock into my brain and go, cunty, sexy, like dirty, sexy money. Like that is the moment. Because some people think like, oh, you can't do that. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't wear this. That is so sexy. Black. I was like, this, I have to incorporate this. I have to wear this at least at one point in a picture. I just want someone to see it because one of my icons wore that and I want to wear that and I want to project that to people.
Sweet.
Let's take a break.
Okay.
Like that? Like this. Energy up. And we are back with Candis Cayne. This is the part of the podcast or talk show, depending upon how people are receiving it, that we open letters from viewers, listeners. I don't get to see these letters in advance. So sometimes, no, I don't. They send them in and they all have beautiful stationery. Oh, this one's not even sealed. I think this one's been, I don't know, something might not be good
Something's been
with this. Yeah,
it's been tampered with.
it's been tampered with. Normally I use my letter opener, but I think if I don't have my letter opener with me, I use my lip brush.
Oh,
But I have so many letter openers. I don't know why I forget them sometimes.
I love a good letter opener.
Don't ever get old. Don't ever get old or you'll lose it.
Trying.
Dear Delta and gorgeous guest, what would a very Delta tattoo look like? A butterfly on the lower back, a Playboy bunny on the hip, tattooed eyebrows,
Oh,
fancy script that says employees must wash hands before returning to work. Much love, Cole. A very Delta tattoo. Well, you know, the emoji that is most related to very Delta is the orange diamond. I don't know if you know this, but I really want to be in on the think tank that releases emojis every year, because they release a few, and there's not a hairspray can emoji. There's not a blow dryer.
really?
There is not
Yeah.
a perfume bottle.
Hmm.
There's like, these are important. I think, wouldn't you would use a hairspray can
Yes, for sure.
or even like a mechanical
Isn't there a whole
fan?
process to get emojis like put up and created? Like you have to.
Over and over and over, there's like a million different little shapes of a black box. There's big ones, small ones,
Right.
one inside of another. I don't know why.
I would love a hairspray can.
You need actually a mechanical fan.
Oh my god,
That would be so you.
yes. That would be.
That's very Candis. So what
Come
happened
on,
was,
emoji. I need a fan.
yeah, we started just putting up like, I put up a list and I was like, why are there so many orange diamonds? Who is using an orange diamond? And so then we just started using them every time we would post.
So that's what you would do for a tattoo.
would be, yeah, I would probably do it behind my ear so that people don't really get to see it.
right.
I don't have any tattoos. Do you have tattoos?
I do not have tattoos.
Do you have pierced ears?
I do.
You do.
I actually recently, I always kind of wanted to get multiple piercings in my ears, but I never did until like 6 months ago with Lena,
Uh-huh.
DJ Lena.
Uh-huh.
And we got second piercings, and then I got a conch. And all of the times of New York, I always felt like I had to be a certain way and be this glamour girl. And at a certain point, I was like, I want to start, piercing some things.
Yeah.
Just the ears.
Just the ears.
Yeah.
Do they hurt when you do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sore, but I mean, I've done electrolysis for 5 years, so
Uh-huh.
that's pain.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. I don't have
But I
any
don't think
piercings
I would do
either.
a tattoo. You don't have, what about your ears? Yeah.
No, so what I do is, and I share this every chance I get because I want people to know that it's possible. I like to go into downtown and I like to buy like big earrings.
Santee.
Yeah, Santee Alley. I like to buy those big, cheap dollar earrings. But then I like to go to the little, like the boutique stores that have like all the jewelry on the wall that's not super expensive, but more than $1.
Right.
And I will buy whatever clip they have and I'll cut the dangle off and I'll put the the cheapy one on the expensive clip. Because a lot of times you'll buy cheapy clip earrings and they're just going to break immediately.
Right.
So like,
So is there a reason?
I'm just afraid.
Okay.
Yeah. So like here, like this is a little cheapy thing, but then that was like a little bit better. But the
like
dangle on it
after
was
an
only that big.
hour, don't they start? There's that clip-on earring pain that is like no other. You don't feel pain, but then all of a sudden it's like it slowly creeps up on you,
Right.
and then you release it, and then it's like,
Right. You know,
Do you
I've
get
done,
that?
yes, I've done nothing to help my body. So I think I'm always in some level of pain all the time. I think my body is always screaming out.
yeah.
So I think that this is like
This is-
nothing.
okay.
I don't think I would ever be able to feel it. You know what I
think
mean?
that on your show, maybe you should get a piercer to come on your show.
I mean, I
mean-
might try it.
That might be an idea.
Does it have to be my ears?
No. Yeah. No.
Could I get a nose piercing?
You would look so gorgeous in a
Really?
nose piercing.
But I want to pick my nose. How do you pick your nose sometimes?
Yeah.
No. Do
I
you pick
think
it in?
everybody picks their nose.
But have
They
you ever
don't
have you
admit
ever
it.
been in like in the car picking your nose and someone caught you?
No.
You know better than that.
I know better than that.
Because you know there's cameras
Yeah,
everywhere.
everywhere. No, this is on the couch watching television. You
Which
feel like an
finger would you
itch in
use?
your-
That
Oh,
one?
pinky.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You know they say when you put on face cream that your ring fingers are the best ones to use around your eyes because they have the least amount of muscle. So you're gonna like not tear that area.
Oh, interesting.
Because they say this area around your eyes
Ring
has the
fingers.
same like thickness and everything else as the skin around anyone's genitalia.
Oh,
Same sensitivity.
really?
Yeah, so you have to do that. I don't know anybody that's masturbating with like this.
Or like this.
Right. Fuck. I don't think anyone's doing that.
No.
But I mean, we could convince people. Do you ever sell pictures of your feet?
No.
No, it's a thing I'm going to get into. Yeah. Go to feetfinder.com and there's 3 categories: men, women, high heels.
Amazing.
I'm telling you, Candice, I love a scooty booty mule. Like when I watch Wong Foo
Yeah.
and I see Patrick Swayze running around in the mule.
Yeah.
There's something about a mule dangling off toes that's
Yeah.
like, that's a thing that you see where you're like, ooh, yeah, I need that.
Yeah.
So I've fallen in love with that. So, but I have tons of shoes that I never wear that
Yeah.
are stunning. And I thought, what if there's somebody, there's people have proclivities.
Totally.
And there are men out there.
I was
specifically men.
watching TikTok and this girl was like, I make, 5 figures a year swimming.
Yeah.
I just film myself swimming
Yeah.
and I have subscriptions. And I'm like, oh, you can really do a subscription for anything.
You can't.
And
And
have-
especially if they don't know who's behind it, that's the mystery. So I thought,
oh, right.
I could corner a couple of markets here. I could corner the sort of BBW, CDTV, who's in high heels and
Right.
stockings, but all you ever see is the foot and the leg. So you can tell, you can tell that somebody's a heavy hitter or not a heavy hitter based on a foot. So, I could corner the market. I could be like,
Oh my God,
my
you could be
God.
the queen of feet.
I could.
Yeah.
And then you know what? I could afford that first class ticket, and I'm going to just tell you and Dana, guess what? Sorry, I'm on your flight. We're going to Spain. And you know what we're doing?
I
we're
love
eating ass in Spain.
Oh my God. I don't know what you're talking about.
I know you don't. I'm going to, I know I can teach
Kinda
too.
do.
Just anyway, listen.
I was just in Madrid.
And what happens in Madrid?
I fell in love with Madrid.
Uh-huh.
Like I was on Tinder in Madrid
Okay.
and like all these men my age in suits with fit bodies and just like gorgeous men.
Mm-hmm.
They were all over Tinder.
Really?
It's different in America. They're either 60 and out of shape
Mm-hmm.
or 25.
Right.
There's
There's not somewhere in the middle.
not somewhere in the middle here.
And were there sultry nights?
Well, I went out on a date, which was so fun.
Uh-huh.
But I only had a couple of days there because I joined a whole group of people in Pamplona in northern Spain, and it
Mhm.
was magical.
Did you drink a wine like this? Like, did you hold it like this when you were,
Oh.
and like stir it a bit like that?
Smell it.
Uh-huh. And like just kind of like, did you let your hair be like this? Like, oh, I'm sorry, were you looking this way? Like, that's how
No.
you do it.
Right. I don't really lift it like that. I think it's more
Pinky.
pinky.
Okay.
Hold the stem.
Mhm. How would you have a cognac ever?
I do. I mean, at my house, I created a full bar.
Okay, what's in there? Everything. A
Everything.
bar. Full
It's
bar.
a bar. Yeah. It's like a coffee nook in the morning and a full bar at night.
Oh, it's a speakeasy. You just
It's a
flip it.
speakeasy.
Okay.
Yeah. Totally.
I love that.
Yeah.
Wait, so you were in Madrid. I always think about you as the actress replacing Kathleen Turner in the third installment
Oh my
of
God.
Romancing the Stone, Jewel of the Nile, the Eye of Madrid,
The Eye of Madrid.
right?
Oh my God. Those are my favorite. Those are some of my favorite movies
Same
of all
here.
time.
So glamorous.
Gene Wilder
Everything.
is everything.
I love, love, love.
Not
The-
Gene Wilder.
What's his name? Her name's Joan Wilder.
Joan Wilder.
Joan Wilder is everything.
Gene Wilder was great too.
Right.
I loved him.
I love you and Willy Wonka, but
but Joan Wilder.
yeah.
Yes.
She
she's
there's
so
something so
amazing.
glamorous about that. Like everything about her is this color of pink. Like
Totally
the suits and
taupe and mauve and
do you remember her jumping on the back of the moped with like the backless dress and she like jumps on a boat and like I love all that.
And I love like the full
Yes.
like the top knot like sexy
It's right
bun.
there. It's right
Like,
there.
Yeah.
It goes like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
Well, and you're an author.
Yeah.
She's an author.
She's an author.
That I could see it. You're both blonde. You both are breathy.
We're both mentally unstable.
Yeah. Yeah. You both love men.
Yes.
From other countries.
And adventure.
And adventure.
And travel. And
I
a
could see it.
mystery. A good mystery.
I honestly didn't know that you loved those movies
Oh my
because
God,
I love them.
obsessed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those things where I'm like, oh my God, she's so glamorous. Who could do it? Candis would
Oh
be
my
the
God.
next person
Do
in
you hear
line.
that? After the strike is over, producer.
Yeah. We speak this into existence. I don't know the name of the movie, but I'm just thinking because you're so connected to Spain in this moment, it could be The Eye of Spain. It could be, what else could it be? It doesn't matter. We have another letter.
Okay.
I could just, I take this long walk and then I don't really get there. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And people are like, cancel the ride. And it doesn't happen. Dear Delta, and enter guest's name here.
Oh.
Okay, well, that's general. First of all, Delta, I completely agree with your stance on peas. Second, where I live, mayonnaise or mayo with peanut sauce are common choices for dipping French fries. Oh, I never thought about that. In reference to your episode with Margaret Cho, which sauces are very Delta for French fries? From Amsterdam with love, very Danny.
Oh my God, Amsterdam.
Dipping French fries. I do like straight up ketchup.
Me too.
I love ketchup on French fries. I like to open maybe like 3 or 4 packets. Like if I'm going to have a hamburger or a sandwich, I like to open up the wrapper and then I like to put some of the ketchup in the corner and then have the French fries over here. So ketchup is good for me. Sometimes I like Thousand Island dressing.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't like it on a salad, but I like it as a dipping sauce.
Okay.
Some parts of the country call that fry sauce.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you dip your French fries in it? You don't eat French fries.
I do. I'm obsessed with Del Taco French fries. They're the best in the world.
I know
and
you to
that's
have a
my
veggie
treat.
burrito.
And I
from-
have a veggie burrito.
I know that about you. I do know that.
Yes. But no, it's only ketchup
Uh-huh.
and peanut sauce. When I was in Amsterdam, I remember having French fries with the peanut dipping sauce, and it was so good.
That
the
sounds
satay
so
sauce.
good.
It was delicious. Mayo, I can't get around, and I can't eat mustard. It makes me physically ill.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
What about Dijon mustard?
nothing. Anything.
Nothing like
Nothing.
that.
Like
Nothing. Do you like spicy foods at all?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Do you put mayonnaise on a sandwich?
I do.
What's your bread for a sandwich if you're going to go just buy a loaf of bread to have around home?
Okay, so over the pandemic, I learned how to bake bread.
Oh, this is even better.
Yeah, so I will the night before mix up my recipe, let it rise overnight, and I'll bake it in the morning. And so I'll have and you can make focaccia with that, or pizzas with it. And so I'll bake bread usually when I have guests coming from to town, or I'm having a dinner party or something. I'll always bake a loaf of French bread. It's beautiful. It's really good.
You know what? I need to become a millionaire so that I could pay you to teach me how to live, how to
my
stay
gosh.
alive. Because honestly, I've said this before, like when I see like super, super rich people that are like overweight or unhealthy or have like funny hair or whatever, I'm like, don't you have enough money to pay somebody to kick you in the ass?
Totally.
Like, you have all that money.
Right.
Like, you're like, I'm lazy because I'm the one who decides. But if somebody else decided for me, if I was like around you, you make it all seem so glamorous. Why would you want to do something else? Why wouldn't you want to make a loaf of bread and go, I'm so exhausted, I'm only going to have one slice of bread today. Like, and then you do that. And that's all you need. If you think about it, you don't need more than that.
No, and I don't have bread in that. Like, I'm the person, if it's in the house, I'll eat it.
Okay.
So I just put healthy choices in the house so I'm not tempted.
That is so right.
Yeah.
That is so right. I was listening to a podcast where a lady that is she's like a trial attorney and she does some other stuff. The guy was interviewing her and he said, "What are you having for dinner?" And she said, "Oh, I always make 2 eggs with 3 egg whites and I have this broccoli and I do this." And he's like, "Oh, what made you decide to eat that today?" And she said, "I make the same thing for dinner every single night because I make so many big decisions throughout the day. If I take the little decisions away from myself, it just becomes easier.
Yeah.
I don't get caught up in it." And I thought, that's really cool.
That is really cool.
That's why I was like, I want to incorporate that. 1 large pizza, right? A 2-liter Diet Coke to counteract that. And I heard if you stand up when you're eating, the calories go right through you.
Right.
Have you tried
walk.
that? Walk?
Walk and eat.
Walk.
Just around the house.
Walk. Well, no, I could stand. That's like an exercise. That's like calisthenics.
You do squats.
Mm-hmm. You know, I would love to have be choreographed by you, but I couldn't because I can't do anything. What do you do when you try to choreograph people and they just can't move? Some people can't move.
They can't, but they can usually, especially queens, can do a step touch. And so that's the basic thing, is just to do a step touch, a basic foot movement, and then try to do something with their arms so that it looks like there's something going on,
Vicky Vox always told me everyone can sing. They just have to find their song. But you're telling me not everybody can dance. There's not a dance in those feet.
And not everyone can sing.
I think that's true.
Coming from Vicky, of course.
Right.
She's going to say that.
Yeah, she's going to encourage the word.
Yeah.
I did not think that this was going to blow by this quick, but it did.
God,
Thank you
really?
for being here. This is super fun. Thank you for answering these letters with me. Peanut sauce, I will absolutely try.
Yeah, it's really good.
I don't know that I would cut it with mayonnaise. Mm-mm.
I don't think I would do mayonnaise either.
No.
But I think a better idea is you go to Amsterdam and try it there.
I think if we're going to Amsterdam, we're dipping more than fries. I mean, for sure.
That's true.
Thank you for being here.
Oh my God, I love you so much. And it's been such a joy becoming your friend over the years.
Oh, thank you.
And getting to know you, because you're just a remarkable person.
Thank you. Oh my God, that's so sweet.
It's true.
Still have to cut you a check for the first time you made a compliment, but no. Thank you all for listening and watching Very Delta, and hello to everyone on YouTube. Please subscribe to Mom Podcast so you don't miss an episode. Also search for Very Delta on your podcast apps, where we come out every Monday, as well as right here on the Mom Podcast YouTube channel. And don't forget to subscribe to the Mom Plus of your choice for even more Delta. You can send all of your questions to readmedelta@gmail.com, and you can follow me on Instagram @DeltaWork. Where can everybody find you on social media?
Candis Cayne. Mm-hmm. On all the socials, Candis Cayne.
Could you have a show called Dance Cayne?
Dance Cayne.
Yeah, where you teach people. They'd have to come in with some sort of knowledge of dance. We don't want them to look crazy.
I love that idea.
I do too.
I'm gonna totally take it. Dance.
That could be your fragrance.
Oh my gosh.
Dance.
Or Tundra.
Ooh.
That was a joke I used to say on stage, because I get the fan and I put the mic in the fan.
Uh-huh.
And it would be like,
yeah.
And do my hair, and then I'd be like,
you love
Tundra.
That. Do you ever do your hair in the air conditioner in the car? It doesn't really give enough of a...
I can always
It just gets like the ends.
I can always find a lift.
Yeah, you can. You can. I believe so. You can also follow the show on Instagram and TikTok @Very Delta, because if you're not, you're really only getting half the Delta. Join me next week right here. And until then, make sure to keep things very Delta.
This episode of Very Delta was brought to you by Orange Diamond, the official emoji of the Very Delta show.
To listen to Very Delta one day early and ad-free, sign up for Mom Plus at mompodcasts.plus. Very Delta is produced by Moguls of Media, a.k.a. Mom. Hosted by Delta Work and produced by Mark Jacobs. Engineered by Margot Padilla and editing by Doug Robertson. Executive produced by Willem Belli, Alaska Thunderfuck, Big Dipper, and Joe Cilio.